Virginia Marshall. Jenny. How's Grandma Kate?
Well, she's fine. You know Kate?
Little Stephen?
He's fine.
Must be quite a young man by now.
Elliot, I'm sorry. Have you been out to the ranch before?
Again and again. You any idea, Jenny Marshall, of the myth you became to a handful of lost men halfway across the world? No, of course you couldn't, but in the camp, in the jungle, your name was synonymous with beauty, grace, home. You see, memory was a treasure there. The only one remaining to us, some of us. Memory was also an early casualty for some of us. Sometime in the second year, they said, things began to fade, to get lost, but Barrett kept his memories. And I, for better or for worse, still have mine. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this too difficult for you?
Oh, no. Go on.
Those of us who could remember were obliged to tell stories. It struck me early on how ironic it was that in all my travels I'd found nothing worth remembering. But Barrett had you and Texas. Barrett scoured his memory for every domestic incident, and your lives became more real to us than our own. Cambodian, Frenchman, Vietnamese, we all felt as though we'd wandered in Kate's garden and groomed horses in your stable. We felt we'd lived his life with him. And the legend of you and Kate and Mike and the old place that had been the same for generations and always would be became a promise we all shared.
And mine, too. And it was just a fantasy. You're a storyteller, Elliot. You made Barrett come alive for me. Are you sure that... Did you see him die?
Yes. I'm sorry. I saw him shot. I saw him die.
You were there. Watching, though I never knew it. Oh, if only I could feel you watching over me now. What am I going to do, Alex? How do I begin? And why?
Iris? Oh, I'm sorry I startled you.
Doesn't matter. It's a very old recording.
Would you like some company?
Thank you, I would. When I'm alone, I start remembering.
Oh, yes. The great scourge. I've been doing a bit of that myself. And I have determined beyond the slightest shade of doubt that there is no such thing as a pleasant memory. You hear the poets go on about them, but tell me one. That's what I say.
How many of these have you had, Elliot?
2.
You may be right. Even if what we're recalling is pleasant, it makes the present all the worse.
Most memories are humiliating and full of people you detest. Why is that? I find myself despising perfectly good people who've really done nothing worse than have the ill luck to appear in a dream or two of mine.
I used to despise people I'd wronged.
Yes. I know.
Have you been thinking about Dennis and me?
Among other things.
Do you hate me, Elliot?
Yes. Would you like some ice in that?
No.
It's dry enough.
Quite. You said you didn't.
Consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds. Mind you, it doesn't mean that I don't recognize that you're a superior woman. I'd never have married you if I hadn't known that. And do you spend your private hours vilifying me as I do you?
Oh, I certainly hated you once.
For not being Wheeler?
Yes. But what does it matter? My whole life has been a long, false start, full of wild feints and stratagems I launched because I never knew the truth. I never knew someone could love me.
I did.
That's not the point. When Alex left me, I did something to you I couldn't live with.
Yeah. We may talk about Plato and Emerson, but when the books are closed and the backs are turned, we do what we think we have to do, don't we?
I don't think survival is that important anymore. Look at me. Is this what I have been fighting for all these years? No. I've come to think that the most important thing to seek is forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Why do you say that?
If Alex were here, I'd ask him to forgive the obstacles I made for us, the evasions. Forgiveness was all he asked of me. If I'd granted it sooner, we would have had more time, despite the waste before. I wonder, Elliot, if you could ever forgive me for putting my survival above yours. I don't want that on my conscience any longer.